A draft declaration at the Ukraine Peace Summit reaffirms the territorial integrity of the country and states that any threat or use of nuclear weapons against it is inadmissible. The document will be signed on Sunday by a representative of 100 countries gathered in Switzerland. Russia wasn't invited.
Welcome to the channel.
Israel's Prime Minister has vowed to continue the war against Hamas after 8 Israeli soldiers were killed in a blast in southern Gaza, the deadliest incident.
Right, so we've got, this is a bit of an update. The Citroen C4 Grand Picasso. Now, so far, I got it back from the garage Thursday. No, Friday I got it back. Now, yes, now the mechanic is the greatest man since records began. But the wheel bearing had not been done properly by previous people that owned the car. The circlip wasn't in properly. That's why the ABS sensor was not happy. So, also, the suspension faulty light kept coming on. Now, it seems that the rear hatch was causing the faulty light to come on, and that's because Range Rovers, this is not a Range Rover, but Range Rovers have self-leveling suspension, air suspension. I think they've got it on all 4 corners, whereas the Citroen just does it in the back. So, if there's a safety measure that a safety thing to stop the car, say the back of the car going up and down, say you're underneath it or something, and that's why the boot catch, if it's faulty, which it has been. If you look at Citroen C4 Grand Picasso, if you look at the back of them, you see the older ones, very often the plastic trim thing is broken. So is the switch can be faulty as well. There's 2 switches, one for the hatch that opens itself and one for the actual boot. So it looks like Neil has fixed that, but he's suggested we get new switches, and he also was looking into getting the new plastic trim, but he reckons it's badly designed, which is why the brake, there's little plastic washers on them. So that was probably contributing to. So it's interesting to note, cars, faults, there's usually a reason. So the safety systems actually worked, in as much as the car knew there was something wrong, so it was going, the light was coming on and then it was beeping. So, it did do what it was supposed to do. And the reason it was sort of like beeping made me pursue it, and get somebody to fix it. So fingers crossed, it all seems to be working perfectly now. And that'll be probably why the people sold it to me, or sold it to the garage that I bought it from. That was like 3 years ago. So, it's proven to be a really nice car. But it's not been particularly easy. I think the problem with cars, I suppose, or anything really, is getting people to fix them. It's more difficult now, I think, to get anybody to fix anything. So it takes a bit of time, and it took a bit of time with this, but it's actually proven to be really ideal for what I need. It's a lovely car. I love driving it. It's so comfortable and performance is really good. The space in the back is amazing. It's definitely absolute for my needs, for what I paid for it. You know, it was less than £2,000 3 years ago. No, 3, sorry. No, what was that again? No, it was. What did I pay for this? Ah, it was less than 2. It was. It worked out at £2,000, including getting it. It was £1,850 I paid for it, and it was. It cost me like £150 to go down to Slough to get it. Pretty much, I use it mainly just for doing what I'm doing right now, is going down to Falkirk. So it gets used on the motorway, which is good for it, I suppose. Also, I use it generally picking stuff up, or I've never actually had anybody sitting in the back of it. But the seats are flat, folded flat all the time. It's a really cool car. So, I mean, the paint's another disappointing thing. I think that's as a result of manufacturers changing to water-based paints. The paint is peeled off the roof. It's galvanised, so the paint's not stuck to the metal. You know, it's like, well, how's that happened? And also the paint is coming off cells as well. And it's got these bashes on it, which the previous owner did. So I really never got around to doing anything about them. I did intend to get them all fixed, the bashes, but I was also thinking, well, what's the point when the mechanical side of it's not up to date? So it really needs a service next. I think that'll be the next thing. Get it serviced. Yeah. I need to get the 17-inch alloys back on it as well. I've got the 16-inch alloys on it at the moment, but probably I think I need a new tyre for one of these alloys. They're lying out the back. They look better, obviously, the 17-inch wheels. Yeah, that's another job that needs doing. You know, you've got to get on the stuff and get around to doing everything. So heading to Falkirk Stadium, they have put the rent up to 20 quid. It's obviously not good news. I don't know how MD can say it is good. I can't see it having a positive effect on the market, but it's their decision, it's not to do with me. But we'll see how it goes. It's become so it's so popular that it's getting earlier and earlier and earlier, and there's this sort of like difference between traders and car booters, but I don't really think there is a difference. It's just at the end of the day, it's a supply and demand issue. Sometimes, you know, over the years there has been events that have been hugely successful, and sometimes they die off for whatever reason. Kelso car boot sale was an example of that. Years ago, they had the foot and mouth scare. I don't know when that was. Was that 2004 or something like that, right? They had the foot and mouth thing, and then when they reopened it, so all these events were closed, so they reopened it, and it never really quite, you know, recovered to the same degree as what it was. But it was like Spook Erection used to have markets all over Scotland and England, and so it was like market trading. I think, you know, laws, what is it, you know, the shops have rules and laws that they've got to follow. So I think that might have killed off markets. I'm not exactly sure. There's a variety of things that killed off markets. You know, the internet, and there's... Why the fuck's the light red? I hate this fucking roundabout. The internet, you know, a market is not the same as a shop, is it? It's like, well, a car boot sale is another difference, which is a good difference, but it's caveat emptor sort of thing, you know. Buyer beware. So at least you're getting the freedom to buy things that you maybe wouldn't be able to buy in a shop or something, because they wouldn't be allowed to sell, you know, like electrical goods or something. But you also have to remember that you really have to, you know, use your noddle, you know. Try not to... You are taking a bit of a chance with some things, maybe, you know, whatever. Of course, there's those like stolen things was the other problem. And there seems to be a big problem down south. People stealing power tools out of vans, selling them. But I don't really see that problem up here in Scotland. But I don't know. I've never really came across any people try to sell me anything like that. So, you know, car boots are essential. So that's the problem that putting the rent up, is that the cost, say like you're an ordinary person and you've got a little car and you've got a load of stuff your parents are not using anymore, and I'm going to sell this stuff, you know, and you come here and you make £40 or £50. Well, they're getting half is the problem. You know, that's definitely an issue. So we'll see how it goes. It doesn't look so busy as normal right off the bat. Wow.
Ancient Egyptians were trying to deal with those tumors. So this is some kind of a cut marks with a very, very sharp instrument.
Wow, it seems to be different today.
To try doing at the time, because this is without modern anaesthetics, this is without antibiotics to stop infections afterwards. I mean, hugely difficult, dangerous, and messing.
Definitely, and it was not just painful for the patient, but also it was very exploratory for the people who was doing it. I mean, that was guided by curiosity, because even then, the ancient Egyptians accepted they didn't know how to treat this, so they were kind of exploring, maybe trying to remove it, maybe trying to drain it, thinking it would kind of drain if they put it on top. So this was in the cutting edge of their medical understanding.
Have you given up with your queuing system?
I heard it was a riot last week, that's why I'm glad I didn't come. 2 roses in there, would you say? 2 rows outside only. That's it. So you can imagine the guys have got 8 different ways. You know, mine that used to be about in the sum up to 8 rows right there. You'll have to allow us past that bus stop or whatever, that's it. You can imagine customers have got 8 different ways. But none of them do it. So that was it, but see what I want. And I met him in the pub, good to you, I said, how are you doing this? This is not work, it's not work. That's a very, very sweet face. No, you 18 every cage out, that's not that, and go to more.